Okay. Here you go. Okay.
What are your top 3 biggest achievements in your life so far?
Oh, God. Skip.
Okay.
And skip the next one, too. I know what the next one is. I know what it's, I mean, I know what it's like to have nothing. 4 years ago, I lived in a $100,000 house in the ghetto. 4 years ago. First house. Beautiful little place, but like, people don't understand context and the whole story. So I know what it's like to be in that position, and truthfully, I think there was a certain part of our family unit that was a lot happier when things were more simple. Zoom calls, dude. It's just
your calendar.
Look at
is
this
a nightmare.
Oh yeah, dude. Look at Thursday last week. Friday last week.
I gotta get this. This is your life.
Right? It's insane. Last week was brutal though. But normally, this is what I'm focusing on now is like taking from 11:30 on off, taking from 12 off.
Yeah, just family stuff.
Yeah, dude. Just to live life, you know.
Do you ever wake up thinking, what if all of the things I built for me and my family went away?
No, never. And I think that's a ridiculous level of confidence because of what has been spoken over my life from a young age. And I've always known that no matter what I do, I'll be successful. Doesn't matter. God gave me that promise when I was 12.
You never wake up scared?
0%. And it's not in my own strength. Do I feel like, yeah, I'll always figure it out? Yeah, my wife says this to me all the time. She's like, just chill out. You always solve it. True. But if I go underneath that layer, it's not about me. It always comes back to an undeniable faith that God will always look out for me because He's a good father. And what good father withholds from their kids? There isn't one. So it's actually my belief that keeps me much further above water. Are there hard times? Sure. But do I ever doubt? Absolutely not. I've gotten 3 things already in a week. 2 colleges, I don't even know where they are, that I'm speaking to. One's an hour, it's $5,000. The other one is 30 minutes, it's $3,500. And then I just got asked to speak as the orientation, like headline speaker for Emory University in Georgia.
That's a really nice, that's a good school.
Is it?
Well-known school.
Yeah, I had never heard of it because I failed out of college twice.
Yeah, Emory's legit.
So I'm doing their orientation in August 2021, being like the main speaker for orientation. I'm not kidding you. And somehow she cracked her own code and said, the speakers we get suck and the kids don't like them. And the kids want to hear from entrepreneurs now because that's the cool thing.
That's a cool thing.
So why don't we ask entrepreneurs? And then we're like, you want to pay me $3,500 to talk for 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
So
It's going to be epic.
weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm quite honestly, I'm just looking for some fucking just phenomenal video from out of this weekend as well of myself and
Done.
just rocking it.
Mike said done.
So
That's
awesome.
That'll be $7,000.
You see what I have to put up with all the time here?
Is it important to have so many social media followers?
No one gives a shit. I mean, followers don't matter. Intimacy and connection, those are the things that matter. That's how you live a fulfilled life, is by taking high levels of personal responsibility and loving what you do and providing transformation to one person at a time. I don't care about speaking in front of thousands of people. Will it happen? Yeah, of course it will. Is that what I desire? Absolutely not. And no matter what stage I've ever been on, it's always the one person in the back of the room. That's really where my heart is. Because I know what they're going through. I understand their struggle. and not in it for the fanboys or girls. I'm in it for transformation of people.
Come on, Sonny.
Come on, Sonny. We need to do your event.
Get us back to your stuff.
145,000 followers, bro. Yeah, it's epic.
I have like 13.
13,000 or 13
Yeah,
total?
no, 13 followers.
Just 13.
Yeah.
It's with this guy.
It's like one of them's my mom.
Let me dial in. I'm gonna dial in. This is
unless majority says this doesn't work. But I think what I'd like to start with is if we can kind of go around, I'd like to ask this question a lot is what's working, what's not working?
Mm-hmm.
And Nick, you're welcome to start that conversation.
All right. Well, I'm gonna probably go pretty holistic so you guys can fill in the gaps. What's working is, I know on the engagement level, the shift in our messaging definitely worked better as far as on the just looking at engagement ranking. What's not working is that I have not had one sales call booked yet. So yeah, big picture, what's working is I love you guys and appreciate you, and you guys are an amazing team. It's part of the game, so it is what it is, but I'm ready to just solve it. Like whatever doesn't work, we just get to the next level of just getting better at figuring out what does work. So that's what I see holistically. Love you guys, everyone's doing a great job. I need sales calls, period. So one of the best ways for you to build authentic influence is specifically by being transparent with your audience. Vulnerability and trust are the ultimate factors that we are doubling down on and focusing on when it comes to marketing. So for people who are heart-centered in their work, for people who want to create massive impact from anywhere from like multi-6-figure to multi-8 or even 9-figure, I'm telling you right now that leading with heart in your personal brand, leading with transparency, vulnerability, connection and intimacy are the future of everything that we're creating in business right now. So I want to encourage you to find the story. I want to encourage you to find the undertone in your production of content so that you can show up in a very powerful way and you can create massive connection with your audience.
Like this only costs lower than $10.
So this whole process for me, like with this call, I'm like so anti-funnel. It's insane. Like I hate funnel.
Why?
Just because I think it lacks authenticity.
Yeah, I'm saying, have you started recording videos?
Kind of. He's recording one right now.
What's up, guys?
We have not. We're recording on Saturday morning, so I have that list printed out from you, and Mike is going to basically feed me questions because he's done enough. He's done about 4 or 5 live events with me, so he knows my content well enough by now. He'll kind of lead the witness. So,
What's the best way to create a meaningful impact in this world?
by doing what you were created to do. Yo, what's up? Hey, how's it going? Good to see you again. How are things? When COVID decided to take over for a brief moment there, specifically in March, this was the place that I came to. So the reason why this place is important is because this is where I think God showed up in a huge way in my life, because I had a lot of questions. There were a lot of unknowns during COVID. It's not a mystery to most of you if you've been following my content for a while, that we actually lost over $500,000 in revenue in 2 days from COVID. And so this is the place where I got permission to really step into what I believe was the next chapter of my life.
By the way, have you all noticed that Chad is guilty of false advertising. This is a fire pit meeting, and there is no fire.
The fire pit originated because the coronavirus had locked up people in their homes for several weeks. And my sister, Lindsay, met Nick's wife and said, "Do you know this guy who's a really good marketer in your neighborhood?" And I was like, "No, I've never heard of the guy. Who is he?" So I followed him on Facebook. And I started seeing some of the videos that he was putting out that were just truth-telling kinds of videos appear into the soul of Nick Cavuoto. And I was like, I could see inside of who Nick was before I ever met him. He had just gone from a $200,000, $300,000 a month business to a goose egg. And that sucks. It's gonna give you a gut punch. That had happened to me a year prior in March of 2019, where I went from $200,000 a month to 30. And I had a $100,000 payroll. And so I'd already lived through what it feels like of what coronavirus felt like to a lot of people. And then the rest was history. We started meeting every Thursday night.
So when I was running an agency, we were running anywhere between 150 to 200K a month. And we had that run rate for a couple of years. The number one thing that was missing was me. Now that sounds insane because you're like, well, of course you're a part of the agency's growth, right? Well, absolutely. We had amazing client delivery. We had a great offer, right? An irresistible offer really for our community. But I was missing from it because I was running from something, not to something. The agency was an escape. It was an escape of what I believe now is my real calling and what I feel like, for me, the way that I need to show up in the world and what my true passion is and what the alignment to my passion is.
The ascension point is that you're trying to become the best version of yourself, which requires you to dig out every closet and find every little demon in your life and find every little bit of good in your life and do your best to try to solve all of those problems in the mode of ascension of trying to get to wherever you want to go, which I believe individualistic of people who are committed to the highest version of themselves. Entrepreneurship is a tool to get there.
So the personal is like, how's your life? What's really going on? You know, the professional one is like, are you really doing what you feel like you're supposed to do? And most people who know they have this problem are immediately going to say, no. And then it's a simple question of like, oh my God, if you're not doing what you want to do, some people call it self-sabotage, which is like, you know, you're allowing the universe to sabotage your ability to grow. It's like, no, you're doing things that you don't enjoy, that you're not good at for people you don't really actually care to serve. That's why you're not selling. So it's a weird dichotomy. It's like mindset before strategy is always the game. I never give people strategy before I help renew their mind because it's worthless.
CEOs need the mechanism to unlock their superpowers. Nick calls it unmuting entrepreneurs, and I would say unlocking entrepreneurs by helping them go into their past, figure out why they are who they are and why they are where they are, so that the aha moment occurs and they can live a fulfilled life the rest of their days.
You're asleep to what your calling is. You're unaware.
Yeah, you're unaware.
And so for you, the unlock and the unmute, unlock, unleash, unfair advantage.
Unmute, unlock, unleash, unfair advantage. Yeah. And the only way to be fulfilled is by understanding that you were created for a purpose. And lining up with your purpose is the great unlock.
Everything comes down to commitment and readiness. Commitment is a 0 or a 1. Period. He talks about you can't be half pregnant. And it's such a good point of like, You can't kind of be bought into your vision. You can't kind of know your calling. You either do or you don't.
The biggest growth that I've had in my life and in my business specifically is when I was able to reduce the lightning in a bottle energy that was scattered, that was going all over the place, and put it in one direction that was really strong. That's where I was able to generate multiple 6 figures in 5 days. I mean, it's effortless, it's easy, and I was able to do it in such a way that really honored everyone throughout the process. It was a win-win-win for myself, for my family, for my clients, and everything else. Like, I think the new normal for me is singular direction of energy. So yeah, I'm always going to be pretty crazy because that's just my personality, but there has been a level of honing in in a different way of where this is going to sound interesting. But I feel like, I don't know, take this. So this is how I've been with my energy. It's all over the fucking place. Lightning in a bottle. Lightning is magic, by the way, which I like. Then over here, this is what Mike Kim has been coaching me to do. What's the one line? What's the one thing that you're doing? How can you take, because he's like, when you win is when you take all this and make it go in one direction forward. So alignment has to do with like the first step. And if you're not aligned, you're never going to get more revenue, and you're sure as hell not going to start working with the clients that you really want to work with. Alignment has to do with energy in the sense of most people are burning so much time trying to solve the problem that is them. So it's like you can't solve your own problem when you're the problem because you don't know you're the problem. So what they do is they have scattered energy, meaning they're going in a million different directions. They have a loss of focus. So where there's not focus, there's not clarity. Where there's not clarity, there's not traction. Where there's not traction, there's not alignment. And when there's not alignment, there's not growth. Good thing we re-record these calls because I would have no idea what I'm saying right now.
What does accountability mean to you, and how can entrepreneurs use it to grow their business?
Accountability to me means that you are being responsible with the calling that you feel that you have in this world. That's what accountability is. It's also the idea around blind spots. It's actually a very high level of humility. That's accountability, where you actually are willing to be transparent with someone who will call you on your shit, who will help you develop and grow at the highest level. And it also takes somebody else who understands accountability for themselves to lead you through it.
This morning in my devotional, I'm texting it to my team in a couple hours. How to connect with people. One of the deepest needs God created is in us, and that's the need to connect with other people. We all desperately need to feel that somebody can feel what we're feeling and understand what we're thinking. So, for me, you and I could have stayed not knowing each other. But I promise you, the outcomes would have been completely different.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Maybe we're made for a time like this, counting each breath so we wouldn't miss it. Don't close your eyes.
You know, sometimes the things that happen to you that you perceive as the worst things end up being the best things, and it was very much that. And I'm glad that in the moment I had the perspective that this too shall pass, and it's all gonna work out, and I know it's for the better. I really accepted that within that 2-day period, but I had no idea how to fix it. The reason why mentors are so powerful is because they have the ability to see potential in you, objectivity. Emotionally, they're not attached to the same exact things that you're experiencing. So they can see you in your greatness and what's capable, and then they can give you the proper feedback so that you can actually go act on what's possible.
Now, what's crazy is that your kids are too young to understand what their dad did. But if the dad, stays the course in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, when they go out and fall, because that's what's gonna happen to all of us, you're gonna be able to be there to help them and say, hey, look, this is what somebody did for me, this is what I'm willing to help you do. Let's do this better. And then in the future, they'll pass that on.
How do you become a good parent and a good entrepreneur at the same time?
This is one of the reasons why I love personal brands, is because it centers and revolves around the person. The way that you show up in your personal life is the way that you will show up in your business, right? They're a mirror. The same problems you have with your clients are the same problems you have with your spouse or your kids, right? And so if you're feeling like, how do I show up in the right way? Have deep self-awareness, have empathy, ask questions, be mindful, be present. These things are just incredibly important. So I don't think one goes without the other, but you better be a better parent first before you're a great entrepreneur.
If one thing I learned about COVID is that relationships matter more now than ever because people are scared. And so the opportunity for you to really coach and encourage and be there, your wife needs you. Your kids need you. Limit the distractions, limit the things that don't bring you joy. You know, go eat more ice cream with your kids, laugh more. You know, there's a great song from Billy Dean, "Let Them Be Little." They're only gonna be that way for a little while. What I wouldn't give for either one of my kids to grab me by the hand and take a walk. So take it right now as the moment of clarity in your life and realize today, it's the best day of your life. Nothing matters up until this point, but what you decide to do today will forever change your life and everyone's lives around you, is when you decide to make you a priority. Not in a selfish, self-centered, egotistical way, but just a true, like, clarity way. And go, all right, cool. And I've been married 22 years. I'm better friends with my wife today than the day we met, right? We've gone through hell and back. But that's the cool part about being in a relationship with somebody who really gets you. And they love you for who you are, not for what you have. They love you when you're on your weakest and when you're in your best. They love you because of you. But I think just like where I'm at in my journey is like the most important thing was making money. The most important thing was like going to work every day. The most important thing was leaving early, coming home late, because it was all like ego driven. And then I got back to the basics and I'm like, do you remember when you were a little kid and you used to lay down on the ground and look up and go, man, I'd love to be in a plane. That's so cool. I wonder what that's like. Or go put a quarter in an arcade machine and be like, I'm just playing games today. I'm kicking the ball with my friends. How did we get away from all of that? How did we get to, gotta work, gotta go have more toys, go have this and that? I lost sight of who I was and I got swept away in somebody else's dream, and I just took back the right to dream, and then I created my life.
My kids are getting older. That's been the huge thing. It's just like, fuck. You know, they're not going anywhere in reverse in time. And I've got to show up differently, especially my daughter, because London means me a lot. Because we're a lot alike and often misunderstood. Not a good combination for a kid. So.
Hence Kenosha.
Hence Kenosha.
But so like from this moment forward, what's today's date? You shouldn't have to look at a clock to know.
26th.
Today is the only day you need to know. It's the day you're awake. It's the day your eyes are open. It's the day that you've been given, right? From this day forward, like, what are you willing to do today? You just have to ask yourself, like, how much are you willing to go for it?
Decision that, like, you know, we're not compromising on anything anymore when it comes to experiences. We're not, and
You know, what the thing that's taught us is that like our traditions and the things that we value most about creating memories with our family is like the thing that actually matters most. So that's never going to be in jeopardy. Again, that's the new normal. That we're going to do this in a way that serves our family and serves us at the highest level, and everything else and everyone else can fuck off. So I think that's how we do it. Yeah. That sound good? Boom.
Let's tell it.
All right.